right, thank you so much. So I realize it's 7:15. I would like to call the Haymarket Town Council public hearing and regular monthly meeting to order Monday, April 7th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Casanello, Larson,
Here.
Gallagher,
Here.
Ader,
Here.
Ramirez,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
DNA.
All right. If you could please join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sprawl. Yeah.
Tonight's invocation will be given by Rizwan Jaka from All Dulles Area Muslim Society.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you, my brothers and sisters in humanity. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The Honorable Mayor, the Honorable Town Council, the Honorable Clerk and staff and firefighters and police officers and community members. It's an honor to be back here again. My name is Rizwan Jaka, as mentioned, and I'm the Interfaith and Government Relations Chair of the All Dulles Area Muslim Society and involved in multiple interfaith organizations in the region and nationwide as well. And it's an honor to come and reflect, and I'll do a few introductory remarks, and then I'll close with the prayer, as we have had in the previous traditions every year. Honor to be back here again in this April time. The Muslim community, we just finished Ramadan on March 29th, 29 days of fasting, and we had our holiday, the Eid holiday, on March 30th. And for us, the fasting is from dawn to sunset, no eating or drinking, and focusing on God consciousness and basically community service and charity and helping those in need. We're reminded that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reminded us that we do not truly believe unless we wish for our brother and sister what we wish for ourselves. And so charity is very important. I'm honored to also chair the Adams Compassionate Healthcare Network, a free clinic that helps people of all faiths and backgrounds that are uninsured and underinsured. And we were honored to actually expand our space. We just bought a new building that will triple the size so that we can help more people. And it's so important, right? Even in the biblical perspective, in Mark, love thy neighbor as thyself. We must make sure that we remember to help people at all times. This is also an amazing time. Not only was it the time of Ramadan, it was a time of multiple holidays for multiple faith traditions. And we know that it's the time of Lent for the Christian community, which will end with Good Friday and Easter, which is upcoming. The Jewish community had Purim at the same time in Ramadan, and they'll be also engaging in the Passover commemorations upcoming as well. The Hindu community had the holy festivals and Ugadi festival. The Baha'i community had the Nowruz, along with the Persian and Afghan community, which is a new year. And so there's an amazing confluence of holidays and commemorations that just remind us of the motto as Americans, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. We had so many interfaith programs in the blessed month of Ramadan that remind us of religious freedom and pluralism that we affirm. And that is something that is just beautiful. The Department of Defense had a Ramadan iftar. Again, the Defense Logistics Agency. The White House had an iftar. Governor Youngkin joined us for an iftar as well. We're Ramadan traditions of, civic nature as well as interfaith. The first time ever, we had the Baha'i community fast, along with the Muslim community. We had a Baha'i and Muslim and interfaith Ramadan iftar with Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, and Baha'i and Sikh and Buddhists coming together to remember and reflect. And so just a beautiful reflection, of celebrating traditions and celebrating each other and respecting each other. And so I will, say this prayer in that reflection of peace. Dear God, let our actions be full of compassion and peace for building a world full of peace, salam, shalom, and shanti. Some prayers for peace from different traditions. From the Christian tradition, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be known as the children of God. From the Jewish faith and the Old Testament, and we shall beat our swords into plowshares and our spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. From the Islamic tradition, in the name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, praise be to the Lord of the universe, who has created us as nations and tribes so that we may get to know one another. O God, our master, you are the eternal life and everlasting peace, and by your essence and attributes. The everlasting peace is from you, and it returns to you, our sustainer. O God, grant us the life of true peace and usher us into the abode of peace. O glorious and bounteous one, you are blessed and sublime. And as I reminded us of the golden rule that God reminds us to treat others the way we want to be treated. May God bless and guide our town council of the Haymarket, our staff, our mayor, our law enforcement, fire and rescue, the Virginia National Guard, the U.S. military, and all their families. May God guide them and all of us to do the best we can for Haymarket, Virginia, and America. We appreciate all their leadership and sacrifice for the public good. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia. May God bless the United States of America, and may God bless our world. Amen.
Thank you. At this time, I invite the ladies from the Dominion Women's Club to the podium. It gives me great pleasure to proclaim April as Child Abuse Awareness Month. And I would like our Vice Mayor to read in the proclamation, please.
Absolutely. A proclamation to observe April as Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas our children are our most valuable resource and are vital to our future success, prosperity, and quality of life, they are also the most vulnerable members of our society. And whereas child abuse is a community problem and finding solutions depends on the environment of the people throughout the community. And whereas all children deserve to have the safe, stable, nurturing homes and communities they need to foster their healthy growth and development. And whereas the most important thing we can do to help children thrive is to support families before they reach a crisis. And whereas effective child abuse prevention activities and training succeed because of the partnerships created among individuals and families, healthcare professionals, schools, community and civic organizations, faith-based organizations, businesses, and law enforcement agencies. And whereas the Haymarket Town Council acknowledges that we must all work together to increase awareness about child abuse and create safe and healthy environments for children where they can live with supportive families and engaged communities. Now, therefore, the Town Council of the Town of Haymarket, Virginia, does hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and urges all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. It witness thereof, the 7th day of April, 2025.
Thank you. You will notice the pinwheels in our museum gardens and yard. Every year, these women come, dedicate their time, and plant the pinwheels to bring awareness that together we can create a safe environment for our children. So thank you. Any words that you would like to say?
Yes, just a few. We'd like to thank all the members of the town council, the mayor, and the other guests and community leaders. We are absolutely thrilled to do this for Haymarket every year. This year is especially significant because this year the theme is moving from the challenge to the change. And the wording of the proclamation has really kind of stolen my thunder. You kind of said everything that I was hoping to say, and did say, or you've already said, because all of the things that you mentioned, the support of the community, the awareness, the absolute working together of the community and other, and organizations to bring about not only awareness of this terrible problem, but also to create modes and methods for effectively changing the terrible problem that we seem to have even here in Prince William County. So we thank you. We thank you for the opportunity to bring this problem to to the minds and the eyes of the people of Haymarket. We like to think that our pinwheels are something that's eye catching, but we hope that with our police here, we're not creating too much of a diversion. However, we like to think that they are something joyful and wonderful, and make us think of the wonder and the joy of children. And as we said, every child does deserve a good and happy childhood. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourselves?
Oh, sure.
Hmm?
You go ahead.
Hi, my name's Nora Peterson. I'm the current president of the club.
I'm Lisa Dunn.
All right. I'm Susie Collette.
Go ahead.
Ray Lamb.
And I'm Mary Ellen Murphy.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Yes,
do you want a
please.
picture and you want to present
Please.
this?
Is there any way we could get a picture with?
Yes, that's what we're
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that.
So where should we do this? Okay, sure.
Want this picture
What's my good side?
You want to hold it together?
I was good at once.
One, two, three. What do you got? One, two, three.
I can get around these.
The chairs.
All right. So this brings us to the public hearing. Kim, do you mind reading in the public notice into record, please?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Notice is hereby provided pursuant to section 58.1-3321 of the Code of Virginia that the town of Haymarket, Virginia proposes to increase property tax levies for the fiscal year of 2025-2026. 1, the assessment increase. Total assessed value of real property, excluding additional assessments due to new construction or improvements to property, exceeds last year's total assessed value of real property by 13.5%. 2, lowered rate necessary to offset increased assessment. The tax rate, which would levy the same amount of real estate taxes last year when multiplied by the new total assessed value of the real estate with the exclusions mentioned above, would be 0.093 per $100 of the assessed value. This rate will be known as the lowered tax rate. 3, effective rate increase. The town of Haymarket proposes to adopt a tax rate of no more than its current rate of 0.105 per 100 of the assessed value. The difference between the lowered tax rate and the proposed rate would be 0.012 cents per 100, or 11.4%. This difference will be known as the effective tax rate increase. Individual property taxes may, however, increase at a percentage greater than or less than the above percentage. Proposed total tax budget increase based on the proposed real property tax rate and changes in other revenues. The total budget of the town of Haymarket will decrease last year's by 10.3%. A public hearing on the increase will be held on April 7th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Haymarket Town Hall located at 15000 Washington Street, Suite 100, Haymarket 20169, by the order of the Haymarket Town Council.
All right, Roberto, could you please give us a brief report on the proposed tax rate?
Good evening. So the proposed tax rate we're proposing today is to keep it flat. Obviously, that was still due to assessments, we'll see an increase. In the last work session, I did have questions concerning how this would impact, how much of this was impacted due to the newer developments, parcels that we have had in the town. In the report, what I did is I went ahead and kind of split out the units that we have, parcels in the town, as well as taking out the parcels that are actually new to the town. When it comes to residential parcels, 383,831 is the total expected from this proposed rate. But $95,003 is actually, of that 383, actually will derive from the newer homes, the new 117 total townhomes and single-family homes in Walter Robinson. I also went ahead and gave the scenario what it would look like if we lower the rates, equalize the rate, and what it would look like at an equalization plus inflation. These rates are here. You can see how at the current rate, we would increase our expected revenue at 13.6%. At a lower rate at a 10.3%, what a 6% would look like, and what a 0.6, which is the closest I could get it to equalize, would look like. This is for council, as finance also wanted to see this as part of the discussion. So it is there. I also went ahead and did a quick estimate for the existing single-family homes and townhomes. I want to say that this is excluding the newer homes, as some of them did not have a full assessment at the time of last year's tax assessments. So I didn't want that data those homes will see a significant increase, as it will be the first year they're paying for the full year of assessments. But on average, for the homeowners here that have been here for the couple of years now, a single family home is looking at about a $50, on average, a $50 increase. A townhome, you will see an average increase for the year of $26. This is also a reminder that this is also, the real estate is also one of the main sources when it comes to our town services. I also wanted to remind everyone that this year too, we are seeing an increase on our trash service. That equals to almost a $14 increase a year. And I went ahead and also gave a little summary as to what we've done in the past 2 years. We have done reductions on rates in the past. We even gave a refund of $250,000 back in 2023. These were all doable at the time, especially since there was no real CIP execution of projects. And I feel like in the past year, we have actually begun to address some of those projects, as you can see with the park sidewalk, as well as with the demo of the park home. I believe the intent is to continue hitting these maintenance and addressing some of these CIP items. So I feel that keeping the real estate tax rate at a flat rate this year would be proper to continue with these projects and to make sure that we're adequately funding our main services, operational services.
Anybody have any questions, comments? No? 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 So in regards to all of that, we're looking to do a vote? No, it's just a discussion,
Just public.
public
The
hearing.
maximum rate.
Okay, all right.
Anyone in the audience would like to speak on this, this is the time to do it.
Why, thank you, Kim. If anybody in the audience would like to speak, please let us know. No?
And I did not receive anything else.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, well, then I will now close the public hearing. This brings us to the regular meeting. I'd like to invite Brian Ross from Prince William County Fire and Rescue to the podium to discuss their needs using the fire program funds from the AIDS to Localist grant. Mr. Ross?
Mayor, I'll give a little introduction. Come on up, though.
Sure.
So Battalion Chief Ross is here tonight to speak to the town council about the expenditure of the ATL fire funds. So Chief Seibert and I have been working closely with Prince William County to determine what is the best use of this funding that we receive from the state annually. So we met with Battalion Chief and he came up with a solution to expend the funds on Swiftwater suits. He has also brought out the Swiftwater boat that I do ask that we take a brief pause when he's ready for us to go check it out. This is something that the Haymarket Town Council helped to fund in years past with our ATL funds. So I'm going to turn it over to Battalion Chief and let you explain from there.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Ross, Prince William County Special Operations Battalion Chief. So in charge of our technical rescue Swiftwater program. So your local firehouse down here, we have technical rescue members who they're trained in Swiftwater, rope rescue, confined space, you name it, they do it. They're the Navy SEALs of the fire department. With that being said, we've been lacking in some of our equipment. So these Swiftwater suits, these protect the first responders so they can go out. They wear these for, it could be just a regular flood, it could be an ice rescue, it could be a Swiftwater event. This protects them from hypothermia, the elements, and a lot of the, like the flood waters, some really nasty stuff in there. So these suits are made out of Gore-Tex and Kevlar, have padding, really protects the first responders, and we get quite a use out of them. We also run automatic aid with Loudoun County, Fairfax County, Fauquier County. So our Swiftwater program goes a long way. We most recently, we went to Southwest Virginia and we rescued about 50 people from their homes from the major flooding. And equipment like this is vital. Our current suits that we have, they're older and getting a lot of rips in them because they do take a beating, and we're actually getting some injuries, hypothermic injuries, things of that nature to some of our members. So this would be a great use of the ATL funds to protect the members that serve this community, the western part of Prince William County, Loudoun, and Fauquier counties, and the state of Virginia. And I did bring our Swiftwater boat. Our ladder truck's actually right behind here. Figured, you might want to take a look at, the equipment that supports the town.
I would love it. Does anybody have any questions thus far?
Which one of us actually has to wear that
I was
suit?
going to ask that exact
I
same
got
question.
That's too large right here. So.
I was going to say, it's not going to fit me.
I vote Justin. Councilman Baker is. No, I was just, I'd love to go see the boat.
Yeah,
Love to-
awesome.
Okay, great.
Wonderful.
I can have them pull it around, so
Perfect. We
just
would love
give
it.
me maybe a minute.
Sure.
All right, thank
Sure.
you.
Do we need to do anything official in order to? Okay. We will take a brief recess pause in order to go and do our field trip. Also, why roar flats? Look at me. You're nice. Thank you. All right.
Mayor, so based on our little presentation, if council is ready, if you guys would give a directive for me to continue to work with Battalion Chief Ross to go ahead and procure the suits. What we're proposing is that he has, he's gotten us a quote from their source that they utilize for these Swiftwater suits. And the town of Haymarket will pay that invoice, suits will ship in, and then we'll notify them when they're ready to pick up. And this would utilize all of the current ATL funds that we have. And then we'll be getting an additional 15,000 this coming fall. Those are usually dispersed in the September to early October timeframe.
Okay, so you just need a directive from us?
That's correct.
Okay. Justin, would you like to?
Would you like me to say that?
As noted.
Okay,
Noted, we will.
proceed with the purchase.
Please proceed.
Yeah.
Please proceed.
So as is noted, we will proceed
With no objection?
with no objections for Fire and Rescue Battalion directive water suits.
Good enough.
Yeah.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, so on our agenda, we did have a presentation from Supervisor Bob Weir, but I am not seeing him in the audience, so we will reschedule that. And then we will move on, if we may. We are now moving on to citizens' time. So if there's anyone wishing to address the council, please come to the podium and state your name and address. Hello.
Good evening, all. Riley Faison, 14725 Dogwood Park Lane here in Haymarket. So my name is Riley Faison. I live over on Dogwood Park Lane, joined by my fellow residents, Jamie Dell and Stacy Emil. Fortunately, last week or so, I was waking up in the early hours of the morning by construction behind my house of the, I guess, building that was being taken away. And it was, I think, a backhoe that woke me up. It's probably close to 7 a.m. Called the emergency line, talked to them, and they detailed to me, I believe, that the hours of the quiet hours, no construction allowed from about 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So they told me to please, talk to the town of Haymarket City Council or someone in the police department as well. A little bit concerned myself as well as the fellow residents in the community. I think in the past there was the proposed trail heading around the town of Haymarket playground. There was at least, I think, like the mayor, there's flyers that were passed out. Unfortunately, this time it just felt like there was a sort of an absence of communication, unfortunately. And when I moved here, I work as an engineer for the Department of Defense, but when I moved here, like so many others, you can afford to live in Fairfax, Loudoun, or otherwise, but then you make the choice to live in Haymarket. And unfortunately, with these, recent commercial developments that are popping up, it's a concern of mine as well as fellow residents. Just the growth, and then the unfortunately the lack of critical infrastructure to support the growth, namely the roads. I had a conversation with one of the chief's officers, Officer Coppage, the other day after the farmers market. I could barely sort of traverse the town, leaving my house to get out to the 66 freeway. And he was sort of concurrently talking to me, trying to conduct radar on the roadways as there were individuals that were speeding. And we both had many concerns that I think aren't really being heard, I think, by the town council, by the town of Haymarket in general, which is growing causes of concern for myself and the other residents. Namely, I think with the pavilion that's being built behind behind my house in the park, is there any sort of concern for individuals that, let's say, head over to Shaw's to grab a shawarma at 2 a.m. in the morning because it's open till 3 a.m. and then just mosey onto the park because there's a pavilion, there's restrooms. Are there individuals that are going to be sleeping in those restrooms? I moved from Woodbridge to Haymarket because it was safe, isolated, and otherwise. And frankly, I've been road raged multiple times by individuals coming into Popeyes, Taco Bell, take your pick. So for me now, I think it's definitely trying to consider my various options. I think whether I stay in Haymarket, whether I move to Fairfax County or Loudoun County. But I would sort of urge the mayor and the town council just to kind of consider these impacts to the community. I honestly feel bad for the police department because they're limited on resources, and if it's 2 a.m. in the morning and I have an individual that's in the park playing music or getting raucous, it's then reaching out to them, hoping one of them are available, and if not, reaching out to someone at the Prince William County Sheriff's or Police Department. So just sort of invoking like I said, the mayor, town council, those present today, just to kind of take a look at the impact to the community. I think that there are revenue sources, I'm sure, drawn from having a Popeyes and Taco Bell and various other commercial businesses in Haymarket. But when I'm having a hard time traversing through my own community just to make it to church on a Sunday, it's a growing concern for me. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? No? Kim, do we have any emails? Oh, wait, no, go ahead. Yes, please.
Sorry, I'm
No.
just gonna ask a couple questions, because we all live in Dogwood, right where the house got taken down, and
Would you mind stating
oh,
your
I'm sorry,
name? No, that's
Stacy.
fine. I just,
Stacy Immel, 14729 Dogwood Park Lane. And I mean, I live directly behind it, and they live on both sides of me. Yes, it's been very noisy. I work from home. I've actually had to relocate while they're tearing the house down because it's interfering with my job, because of the noise. What I'm concerned about is, like Riley had said, about people loitering in the park after dark. I have a dog, so I have to take him out at night. And I have seen individuals sitting on the benches out there that are the new ones that are been put in at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. It's kind of a little scary when you're walking around and all of a sudden you see someone you're not expecting to see. I don't go out anymore without a flashlight. But it's kind of concerning what's going to happen to that area. And what are you guys going to do to make sure that doesn't happen and address the issues?
thank you very much. We'll 100% take in all comments and considerations. Is there anyone else? No? No emails? All right, thank you. All right, so we're now going to move to the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull any reports? No? All right, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I would pull the town manager report. Always got to pull that one, right?
So close.
So close.
All right.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adopt the unpulled consent agenda items, please?
Sure. I'd like to move that we approve consent agenda items A, 1, 2, 3, and 4, B, 2, 3, 4, 5, liaison reports C, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
All in
Aye.
favor? Aye. All right, sir.
Okay. Start down the list. Park building. You have it being completed on a Wednesday. What's left? Just a punch out?
That's correct. So punch out and the final walk of the site with the contractor and the release of the demolition permit being approved by Prince William County.
Okay. Town Park Playground, assuming you're going to make a nice little news article within the webpage in our social network, as well as maybe the April newsletter got a piece of it for the awning going up over the playground.
We can make note of it on social media that it will be reinstalled.
Yep. I think that playground is one of the jewels of the town, so it's great to always promote it anytime you make sure that makes it more safe for the kids from the environment and everything. It's always good to promote. Okay. Wow. I have some notes here on one that I didn't make clear enough for myself. So let me step back real quick. Okay. Any feedback on the opening of the farmers market?
All the feedback we received yesterday was well taken. People were very, very appreciative of the new closure that we completed for the farmers market this season. So in years past, we allowed the entry point on Washington Street to remain open to vehicular traffic. This year, we went ahead and closed that off. So it was pedestrian foot traffic only coming in off of Washington Street. So this was a much better layout for not only our vendors, but also everybody who came. It just provided a much safer, closed-in area for families to shop the market and all of us not worry so much about a small little one running out behind a car. So.
Okay. And the second quarter newsletter, did we get that completed? Has it been mailed or is it?
It's completed, folded, labeled, and sitting in the chairs back there to drop off tomorrow morning at the post office. So you will see a small difference in our newsletter this month, and we hope that everybody enjoys it. But Julia did a redesign and worked with Alexandra to fully put all the content in there. And then the ladies printed it with a outside printing company. So you will notice a little bit more of a professional feel to your newsletter. So we hope everybody enjoys it.
Awesome. And my last note, Jefferson Street, Fayette Street site plan. We seem to got cut off. VDOT was asking the town to do something.
Thomas, you want to address that one?
So through construction of those two single-family homes on the corner of Jefferson and Fayette Street, there was, once we signed off on the site plan and the site plan revision that came through, the site superintendent brought the plans to VDOT. There was, from VDOT's side, there seemed to have not been record of approving the original site plan on their end. And so they had to go through resubmission to make sure the entrances and the driveways, because they're in a VDOT right-of-way, had to be resubmitted to VDOT. We met, Emily and I talked with VDOT and the site superintendent about the issue beforehand. Currently, VDOT's review stood that despite the site plan being signed, VDOT would still require the site superintendent to resubmit the entrances, which is what they've done. Additionally, along with that, the sidewalk that was going to be built in place onto those two lots fronting Fayette Street, because it's partially within the VDOT right-of-way, there are requirements that allow for VDOT to maintain responsibility for it then, but because not all of it is in there, as part of that approval with the new entrances, we have had to sign a maintenance agreement where the town maintains that section of sidewalk along those two lots on Fayette Street. So those are the main updates. We're still working on making sure VDOT has approval of any comments outstanding for the resubmission to them for that. And then we're working on signing the site plan and getting construction back moving with those two lots.
Okay, Thank you.
Can I ask
That's
a-
all I have. I need to open it up for
Just
you.
a clarifying question for you, Thomas. So I want to make sure I heard correctly. What I heard was that the town is going to assume responsibility for the sidewalk. Is that what I heard?
Yes,
That the town of Haymarket is going to assume the sidewalk responsibility on that portion of Fayette for like snow removal and all that?
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, not snow removal, just maintenance. Okay. Just for any deterioration of the sidewalk, only maintenance.
Only maintenance,
Yes,
not
only
like
maintenance.
snow removal and things. Okay, thank you.
Removal will all be dictated by the snow removal policy and ordinance that you have in place.
Okay, so that would then be part of the homeowner's responsibility. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No? And then just clarification or a shout out to the start of request on the app.
Yes, so this past week, we did a soft, quiet launch of the start a request or contact us feature on the app. So we're kind of working through the final kinks of it, making sure that everything is seamless. But what this allows is on the My Haymarket app, it allows for any of the users to go in and submit certain requests, whether it be for work items, maybe they see something wrong at the park or the playground that they would like to submit a work ticket for. They can take a photo of it, and all they have to do is submit their last name and an email address, because we want to ensure that we're following up with everybody. And it will set a notification time with staff internally. And so we will be pinged in our emails to work on that work request, do follow-ups with the person who submitted the request, and close it out by a certain time frame. So we're very excited about this new feature. And as we finalize all of, again, the kinks of it, we'll make sure that we post that it is officially live here in the next couple weeks.
It was very nice to see how many people had the app at the farmer's market yesterday and how
Yes.
many people actually signed up for it at the farmer's market. So I'm very excited that that will increase our communication. So,
Absolutely.
perfect. Anybody else? No? All right. So may I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda item of the town manager report?
I have a motion to accept Department Report B1, Town Administration Report.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so no opposed. Thank you. So we will now move on to the agenda items. The first item on the agenda is resolution number 2025-002, request to VDOT to accept Walter Robinson Lane into the VDOT public system. Do we have any questions before we proceed? I feel like it was a healthy discussion at the work session. Yeah. All right. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution 2025-002 as stated?
So moved.
Perfect.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions or discussions? All right, may I please get a roll call vote?
Thurston?
Aye.
Gallagher?
Yes.
Ramirez? Yes. Baker?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consideration of SUP number 2024-001. Do we have any additional questions for staff or the applicant? No? Do we have any further discussion on the subject?
Yes, if I may,
Yes,
counsel.
please, Thomas.
I received from the applicant a statement from Virginia National Bank from the corporate headquarters. I've reprinted Exhibit 6 as well, just to present to y'all. Let me pass that out to you, and then I'll give that update.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you. Pass this down. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you. Okay, great.
There should be one before we take that one, actually.
And you have Exhibit 6.
That makes it easier.
So who needs the reading glasses the most? They can use them.
I was really just saying, I have a secondary, okay, because it's like really
I'm
tiny.
seeing it well enough.
Now that those are passed out, the main updates I wanted to give, I'll just read out again what you have before you from Virginia National Bank, directed to Town Council. Dear members of Haymarket Town Council, over the last several months, Virginia National Bank has been in discussions with our landlord, Meladon, and representatives from Chick-fil-A regarding potential changes to our Haymarket branch parking lot. VNB was opposed to the original plan. However, after reviewing multiple revisions to the plan and working together with the parties involved, VNB is supportive of the changes as modeled in draft number 6, Exhibit 6. It is our understanding that Chick-fil-A and/or Meladon will make the modifications as drafted in Plan Number 6, including marking all VNB spaces, parking spaces as requested, clearly marking the one-way lanes as such, and constructing an aesthetically pleasing border, including shrubbery and black fence between the drive-through and the branch parking lot. So with that reading in mind, I want to provide that additional information as it was not included in the staff report. It was submitted to us afterwards. There was also discussion from the work session about, I'd mentioned the fire marshal's comments on exhibit number 6. I just wanted to read the email that I received from him prior to the work session. Just wanted to read that to you all for transparency. I initially emailed him March 20th about exhibit 3 and then following up with exhibit 6. Good morning, this is Matt Smolsky I'm addressing. Good morning, Matt. Chick-fil-A just sent me this updated exhibit number 6 attached for our review. I've reattached exhibit 3 as a comparison. Exhibit number 6 has a reduction of the sidewalk at the adjacent bank property from 7 feet to 5 feet. Exhibit number 6 also keeps the 5-foot landscaping buffer that we require per the zoning ordinance rather than the 2-foot curb in exhibit number 3. There are changes to the aisle depth as well. Would you be able to look at exhibit number 6 as well to ensure this proposal is acceptable from an emergency services standpoint? I'm free until 3 p.m. today and all morning tomorrow if you want to stop by in person again. We had that subsequent meeting. This is his response after the meeting. Thomas, good meeting with you this morning. After consideration and review of the proposed exhibit below, I've determined the proposed imitative exhibit would be unacceptable. This is exhibit number 6 he's referencing. This is based on the general width proposed and the fact this would impact the primary entranceway in the adjoining business bank. Both would impact fire and rescue access. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Let me know if you need any further assistance on this matter. So that's really the only other follow-up comment I had on exhibit 6. In summary, from what we've discussed previously, the original SUP had the delineators with the bike curb installation. Exhibit 2 had a hardscape curb with perpendicular parking. Exhibit 3 has the angled parking at the bank with a reduction of 2 spaces and an aisle depth of 17 feet for the one-way direction. As discussed, because it would require a waiver request that the zoning administrator isn't willing to grant at this moment, exhibit 6 was the best possible exhibit to meet the zoning ordinance. With that in mind, my concerns still stand as stated in the staff report about safety, traffic in that site, and get with the fire marshal's comments as well, supplementing that. Apart from that, I have no other updates. My recommendation for denial of the application stands as previous.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Either Thomas or Emily, could you walk me through the process of what would happen if council were to approve Exhibit 6? What that would look like moving forward, the decisions that have to happen before ground is broken?
So if the town council proceeds with approving any exhibit tonight, but specifically number 6, then the applicant would go through the process of applying for the appropriate amended site plan. During the site plan phase, the site plan would be submitted to outside agencies to include Prince William County Fire Marshal's office. At that time, the Fire Marshal's office would go through their typical review and provide feedback and ultimately an approval or a denial. So if this was exhibit number 6, we would fully expect, based on our conversations with Chief Smolsky, to have the same feedback given. So we are hopeful, if any approval were to go through tonight, that the council take that into consideration, that the fire marshal has already provided feedback specifically on Exhibit 6 as well as the other exhibits. Thomas can go back through and discuss which other exhibits were acceptable. Following feedback from the fire marshal, if it were Exhibit 6 and they were to deny it again in the formal setting of this site plan, then the applicant would have to come back to the town of Haymarket and amend the site plan appropriately to address those concerns. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Would you like for Thomas to denote which exhibits were acceptable by the fire marshal?
Yes, please.
Okay.
When you're ready to write, exhibits 1 through 3 were acceptable per the fire marshal. With that in mind, it would require granting of a waiver to remove the landscaping buffer that's present. That is part of the zoning requirement for section 58-1913. But from a fire marshal standpoint, exhibits 1 through 3 are recommended by the fire marshal relative to exhibit 6, which he did not recommend.
One, in addition. Further questions, discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, with the feedback and the comments, the evolution of this ended up incorporating all of our feedback and comments into Exhibit 6. That kept the buffer, that put a fence in to prevent any type of backing up into vehicles that might be coming through the drive-through. So our resolution to resolve our issues was pretty much number 6. So I don't know where we could go from here. I mean, if we ended up approving number 6 and they went through site plan, we're putting a burden and an expense on the applicant to have to go through the site, processes, site plan adjustment processes, which I don't think they should do. So if we are in agreement on number 6 with just what we've seen, it's best to just squash it now. That's my opinion.
Matt, do you have anything to say?
I tend to agree. I think the biggest concerns that I had for this, to state my opinion, were about Virginia National Bank. I think the applicant looks like that was resolved. And I've been on record saying that was one of my concerns, is the impact it would have on the neighboring business. My other concern, since we've been talking about this, is the safety. Specifically the fire safety and whether or not they could adequately traverse that lot. And what I'm hearing is that they recommend, that they're saying no, that it is a concern still to them. So it sounds like I've gotten, kind of agree with you, Ken. I think we've gotten as much alleviated as we can, but it sounds like there's still going to be a concern at from the fire marshal. That's what I'm hearing. So I think I tend to agree that this is probably not something we should take on at this point in time.
Finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Mary, did you have anything additional?
Yes. I think that the forward thinking of council is well intentioned. However, this is a decision the applicant should make, not council. Council shouldn't decide, oh, well, number 6 meets us. The fire marshal is saying no. If the applicant wishes to proceed, we should not prevent them from proceeding. If they need to debate or correct anything with the fire marshal's guidance and need to return to us, we can address that at that time. But I think if the applicant wishes to invest that money and invest that time and their resources into it, then that's their prerogative and we shouldn't make that decision for them. So what I want to look at is, has this applicant for the town of Haymarket addressed all of our concerns? And I think the consensus is yes. In Exhibit 6, they have addressed all of our concerns that we have voiced to them. And they have been very proactive and, for lack of better terms, very good neighbors. They have done everything we've asked of them. So for us to deny it on somebody else's decision down the line, I think that that would be, I don't know, disrespectful of the process. They have a right to go through it and make their decisions as they wish. It's their prerogative.
Justin?
Yeah, I kind of, there's, you know, two sides. There's with traffic and, you know, with all the recommendations they've done, they've done a great job. A lot of hard work has gone into this and what you've guys put into this project, and you've answered a lot of our questions. But still, with the fire marshal and anything with safety down the road, it's hard, and it's hard for me to move forward. So I'll just leave it at that.
Mayor, may I make a point of clarification?
Yes, please.
So in regards to the fire marshal review, I just want to make it very clear for all of council, let me start back. The town of Haymarket has Prince William County act as our fire marshal. So when we receive site plans, SUPs, or zoning applications where we need for the fire marshal to evaluate them based on the ability for their equipment to access the site, that's who we go to. And so we're taking their word, much like we would take VDOT's word in an outside agency review. We're taking their word that this is going to create a conflict on site for their equipment to provide adequate safety measures. And so we're respecting that the fire marshal of Prince William County, who serves as the town of Haymarket's fire marshal, has stated that this is not an acceptable exhibit that we should be considering. And so I would have some concern if council were to move forward and not take into consideration what your fire marshal is telling you when it comes to what they find acceptable and not acceptable for their equipment.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor, with all due respect, and I know I'm out of line here.
We can't have comments from the
I
public like
apologize.
this.
I apologize.
We're just finding out about this fire marshal report. We didn't know about this.
Mayor, we do not tend to accept any remarks from the citizens unless they are called on. But I would further add that this was discussed last Monday night about the exhibit number 6, and we specifically quoted Chief Smolsky at that time.
I do recall that,
We did not.
actually.
You did not. And we weren't aware of it until right now when it was read.
So we'll move forward. Thank you. Apologize, but I feel with the discussion and with the members present, are we ready to decide on this SUP? Are we ready to vote?
I'm ready to vote.
The draft motion on packet page 82.
Thank you. If somebody could read that into, please.
So I have a question on point of order, just a point of order question.
Unfortunately, we don't take comments from the
Let us know what
audience.
the protocol is for addressing the comments, because we have an answer to your concerns. And we have engineers and staff and Virginia National Bank here.
Emily,
to
would
address
you
the
help
concerns.
with the response, please?
It's just a point of order question.
So it is at the council and the mayor's discretion. If you wish to engage in a conversation with the applicant, it is your discretion if you would like to call them up to the podium and have any question and dialogue.
So I will defer to my fellow council persons in regards to that. Do we want to allow 3 minutes? Do we want to allow any further questions?
I'll give my opinion on this. I'm going to actually echo my colleague, Councilmember Ramirez, had said that I will completely agree that Chick-fil-A and everybody has been a great partner to the town for years. And they have worked very hard on this. I'm of the opinion that I'm okay with taking a couple of questions, and kind of having that address. I'm personally okay with them, but that's my opinion.
Ken?
Trying to be everybody's hometown, I feel we need to give businesses a chance to comment.
Mary, you in agreement?
I'm absolutely in agreement.
Okay, Justin?
Yeah.
All right. If I may, could we please limit it to 3 minutes? Thank you.
And just for the record, yeah, I know we've seen you before, but name,
Hi.
role, et cetera.
Sure. Christina Hughes. I am with Bowler, the engineer on the project. And I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I think the most important item outlined in staff's update and that seems to give pause is the fire marshal's concern. And I will note that the movement that you guys see blown to a scale that's very legible shows that a pumper tank can circulate the site and not impact those parking spaces. And I would like to reiterate what I said last week, and that we were not asked to update the length of the striping, this parking spaces, until after Exhibit 5. So Exhibit 3 and Exhibit 6 have the same width from the curb adjacent to VMB to the curb on the outside of whatever landscaped area adjacent to Chick-fil-A. There's 37 feet in total. What we were asked to do is update that striping to 22 feet and then 15. What I believe is that the Prince William County Fire Marshal is used to seeing 17-foot drive aisles because Prince William County DCSM, that's their Design Construction Standards Manual, requires for parking spaces to be 20 feet and then a 17-foot drive aisle, the same total 37 feet. And in practice, what's going to happen is most people are going to pull up, their tire's going to hit the curb, and that's where they're going to stop. So I understand what the requirement is, and that's what we showed as requested, VDOT parking standards. But in practice, this is probably going to be the same scenario as Exhibit 3. You will have the same 37 feet total from where people park and where they can navigate. And we did try before we ever submitted to find parking standards in the town zoning ordinance, and we're not able to locate specific requirements. So we deferred to the county, which is what we've done historically, especially since, as we're discussing, most outside reviews or anything like that done to service the town are done by the county. So it made sense to reference that, and that's what's shown, and also very standard practice in most adjacent jurisdictions, from West Virginia, really far east, north, and south. Those are the standard dimensions for parking, 20 foot from curb to end of the striping, and then a 17-foot drive aisle. And that is still feasible with what we have shown. I know that's not what Exhibit 6 shows, but outside of an actual just striping, that is still able to be accommodated, which is what the fire marshal was accepting of. That is the difference from Exhibit 3 to Exhibit 6. Aside from Exhibit 6 also giving us a 5-foot buffer to make sure that we do not require waiver from the zoning ordinance. So there's lots else to say on the application, but I think that's most important to note because Chick-fil-A takes pedestrian, not just their customers, but the safety of everyone accessing their site. That's of utmost importance to them. And I think that this application shows that as well. I want to point out as well, kind of in terms of safety, alleviating a potential concern in traffic movement because we're limiting it to one way. So I know that's been a contentious point, but now somebody cannot be leaving both of those stop bars at the same time, potentially turning the same direction. So just one bonus point that I feel hasn't really been discussed enough.
I just may add one final comment to that. So we're confident that we can get the Prince William County Fire Marshal to get on board with Exhibit 6 if we can discuss with them the different standards of Prince William County versus VDOT. As she had spoken, they're accustomed to seeing the Prince William County standard, not the VDOT standard. So because we have the 35 feet, we can just simply work with them saying, what works for your pumper truck? And we'll make that happen. So I think it's as simple as that. And we will certainly move forward with the application, spend the dollars, attempt to get it approved. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. With that being said, does anybody have any further comments? Yes, sir.
They seem to be anxious. I'm willing to give them a chance. I think if we do the motion, I think it should be on a conditional motion on a site plan approval, if that's appropriate to staff. Going through the site plan process, they give the opportunity to to follow the process.
Anyone else? No? So I'll take a few minutes. I did review the meeting last week. I apologize for not being able to be in attendance, but this is important to the community, to business, and as a business person, I completely understand that. I would be open to conditional motion, however, practice in our world is very different than what is regulated. So we can say, and I respect it 100%, that somebody's going to pull up to the curb, like it's going to give them additional work through. But at the same time, you can say somebody's not going to pull up and they're not even going to meet the minimum requirements. And I would hate for somebody to be of need, whether that's a heart attack, whether it's a kitchen fire, that is not what I want to see in the community. So when I look at the plan, I absolutely look at what the fire marshal would recommend. And yes, I am certain that there could be some conversation, but at this time, that recommendation is what is there. So I do appreciate the conversation, but that's my 2 cents. It is a collective assessment on this dais. So how would we like to move forward?
Ken, would you like to propose the conditional motion that you would entertain?
Okay, let me, yeah, I got it.
I can do it if you want.
And what specifically are we conditioning?
And also legally, what does it need to say?
Any recommendations from council?
Also, you don't have to do a conditional. We can decide.
Well, for them to use the property as they want to, they have to go to the site plan approval process anyway. I think the best recommendation I can make is for them to request some additional time to make changes to the plans, to meet with the fire marshal and come back after those discussions, having resolved the fire marshal's issues. And I think council might consider that if they request that additional time.
I also understand that this has happened before, but if it's going to be a conversation and a resolution, if that is best, then that's where we need to go.
Okay, well, I'll throw it out there then, just to move this forward. The town proposed notice of public hearing for the SUP application. Let me see, am I on the right spot? No, I'm not. Okay.
You're a couple sentences up.
Yeah.
82, but 2/3 of the way down.
Yeah, I see. I move that the Town of Haymarket Town Council approve SUP 2024-001 for Chick-fil-A through expansion under condition that the site plan that they submit through the site plan process gets fully vetted and approved at that point by
outside agencies.
By outside.
by outside agencies, planning commission, et cetera, as what our processes are.
Second.
May I add a consideration to select an exhibit?
Oh, yes.
For
I can rescind
recommendation.
that.
Okay, we in agreement, Exhibit 6? Is that a friendly amendment?
For the.
Friendly
I accept that
amendment for, to add Exhibit 6 specifically.
Okay, did you get that, clerk?
And I can second that.
All in favor?
Let's,
Or are you doing a roll call
yeah,
vote?
let's do a roll call.
Can we read the entire motion first, so we're all on the same page?
Yeah.
Haymarket Town Council approved 2024-001, the expansion of the Chick-fil-A drive-through with the condition that a site plan is fully vetted through outside agencies incorporating Exhibit 6.
And our fully approved site
Yeah,
plan
fine.
process.
So clarifying what vetted meant
So Exhibit 6, outside sources.
and approved.
Vetted through outside agencies
Our
that will be
process of
fully
approval.
In our process of approval.
approved through Exhibit 6.
Hold on, does
Does that mean, I don't feel like that's
That's not, I
clear.
think we may need some time to work on the motion.
Okay.
Doing it like this may be a problem. So
Okay.
we can take a moment and craft it.
Yes. Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yes. We will take a 5-minute recess.
With no objections, I will rescind my previous motion.
No objections.
no objection?
Okay, the new motion, I move to approve special use permit application 2024-001, contingent upon the applicant obtaining site plan approval from the town of Haymarket and from all applicable government and regulatory agencies, including but not limited to the approval by the Fire Marshal of Prince William County regarding Exhibit 6.
Second.
All right. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Larson,
Aye.
Gallagher,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, so our next item on the agenda is consideration of SUP number 2024-002. The,
That was deferred.
yeah,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
I'm, yes,
Sorry.
I was, no, that's okay, that's all good. I'm glad everybody read their emails. So-
Mayor, if I may, for the record, we received the email today from that applicant deferring the application and requesting to rediscuss it at the work session. They felt that they would be able to have more of a productive conversation after they gather more information.
So this would be the work session on April 28th.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. So with no objection, I will defer this item.
No objection.
Sorry.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. The second draft of the council policies and procedures. Kim, can you give us the revisions? I know you guys went over it at last work session.
Okay, in your packet, let's see here.
Sorry, I know I'm making a mess and it's spreading all over the place.
If you go to packet page 140, under the organizational meeting, I did add upon that it was requested that it was added that I do the FOIA and COIA training is required by state law, and that I would arrange the training for those. That was added in. On the section 2-8 seating arrangement, page 141, the language was added after the work session that the mayor shall occupy the center seat on the dais and the vice mayor shall be seated beside the mayor. The mayor shall determine the seating arrangements for the remaining members of council at the dais. Let's see. those are the only really two things that were asked to be added.
Did anybody have anything additional? I did have a qualifying question.
I had a comment.
Sure, please.
Okay, thanks. I know that we went to at great lengths last meeting in discussing the two positions for the finance liaison position. And while I heard a lot of dismissal of my concerns, I did not hear quite why we need two. And so I would really like to vet that out fully to ensure that we are putting two liaisons in that position based on its merits rather than to appease personalities. So if anybody would like to maybe enlighten me or educate me as to why the two positions are necessary, I would really love to engage in that conversation.
I'll give my opinion.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'll go last.
Yeah, I do believe having two finance liaisons is important. I believe I never wanted to be a barrier to anybody being able to go in and attend those meetings or frankly, any others. And if it requires note-taking or record-keeping, kind of so be it. The reason I tend to be a little bit more when it comes to finances, especially that particular topic. And you know, again, stating my opinion, I think it's important to have a couple of people there. It's an important topic. I think when I talk to our residents, fiscal responsibility, spending our funds wisely, lowering our taxes, is always something that's on their mind. It's always something that they're asking for. And I think just having that, having two people as a check and balance, to me feels right. Without it, though, to address the concern that you did raise, which was fair, it should not be a barrier towards you or anybody else being able to attend a meeting if so desired, just as it wouldn't be a barrier for any of the other liaison positions.
And I'm on the, I try to follow what the military has done with their pay. And it's usually, you have a redundancy there so that communication is double checked, checks and balances, kind of like Matt said. But yeah, with finances, it's always nice to have two eyes so that any descriptive of what happened could be counterbalanced by, well, I interpreted it this way, and you can kind of vet out a true story in any type of perk back up to us, as opposed to us striking hard on staff saying, well, I see you guys didn't follow what this guy was saying or whatever. It's checks and balances to say, well, no, one finance officer can tell the other one, you're overstepping your bounds. Step back, and there's just that checks and balance going on.
Justin, do you have an opinion?
Well, I understand your concern and where you're coming from the barrier standpoint, and that shouldn't hold anyone back from attending any meeting. But I harp on what everybody else says is just more eyes on what's going on in case somebody, it's always just easier to just have another person there or two people on financial just to double check, triple check everything's correct. And just, it's a process to go through. So if there's enough people checking it and making sure everything is, in order, I agree with that.
May I?
Oh, yep.
Okay. So, in my humble opinion, because I served on finance, I think the initial reason for us putting two liaisons in served a very different purpose and we have moved forward in more transparency and more collaboration, which I am very proud of within our council. I think what I heard from you was, is there a limitation? And you don't want to be limited. Nobody should be limited. And I think that there are things put into place where we're not. We can actually make adjustments for those, and we have a staff that's willing to do so. I think that the evolution of liaisons, I think they're wonderful. They're like it's a sounding board. It's a place for businesses to come and talk to needs. How can the town help? This is two different personalities, and I think that there's a misnomer that things are happening within this specific community that I can say is not. I want everybody to feel open to coming, and we've made and have voiced ability to do so. I would concur that there's a healthy balance of, that's not how I see it. This is how I see it. Maybe there's a bridge that we can build before, right? So I would say 2 is what I think is healthy, especially in finances. So, but please.
I was just going to kind of play devil's advocate in this discussion and say the 2 sets of eyes that you keep discussing. Where does the town treasurer fall into that? Because he's the professional handling this. We have the town manager who also attends these meetings, and then 2 council members. I'm not saying all eyes shouldn't be on finances. I think that's all of our obligation that we all adhere to. I do just wonder if the easiest resolution to this obstacle of limitation is to have 1 liaison, and that is the second set of eyes. That is our eyes saying, hey, council, look at this. That's what their report is for. And we pay attention to that. Otherwise, we have the town manager, the treasurer who can't sign for anything, right? And our liaison. And I think that policy that we put into place protects us from all sorts of things. That is a natural checks and balances. That is us engaging with them, but also not emburdening staff to come in anytime that we all want to be there if we have questions or want to be part of the process for whatever reason. I was just looking for the easiest solution of just limiting it to 1. We still have our checks and balances. I understand initially why we wanted to have more than 1, because there was a lot to overcome there, and I can respect that. I just want to make sure that that is still necessary and not going to encumber upon our staff and also not prohibit us, because I experienced that. That was an actual experience.
Could you clarify when that experience was?
Probably about fall of last year.
Okay.
I wanted to come in and I was told I could not.
Has there been any recent ones?
I haven't asked because I wasn't allowed to due to FOIA. That was the statement. So regardless, I'm trying to address that issue and be proactive. It's obviously not an issue currently. It's not that I have an issue with the liaisons themselves. It's that I want to make sure that this doesn't limit anybody at all. And we do have those checks and balances. Those policies were made and put into place for a very good reason. And we should all get an opportunity to pop in, not just the same 2, if that makes sense. That was my perspective. So if you, as a council, the majority prefer having 2 council members on there, majority rules. But I just do want to make sure that we are trusting our staff with their duties. We know that they have a checks and balances within themselves, and we shouldn't be micromanaging that by having so many of us in there, almost be like its own little chasm. Like, we should still be consulted as a group up here, not finance makes the recommendation together as their little decision and then come to us. We should be part of that decision. So optics there are important as well. That's all.
Anybody have anything to say?
Roberto, are there any decisions made in your finance meetings that are directed by the liaisons?
I will repeat what I've been saying. There's no decisions. They're if anything, more of a buffer, bringing up ideas with them, seeing where they're at. Before they're brought up to the council for major decisions. But there are some more informationals, as the town manager does have a limit threshold where she can make her managerial decision to expend as long as within budget. We do inform them of that, but I feel like we do inform the council as a whole and during work sessions. But as far as final decisions, no, because I can tell you there's 2 liaisons there that feel like we should keep reducing taxes. But that's not what I'm presenting, because I'm thinking future-wise versus them thinking of current.
Okay, operationally, you usually get approval signatures from these liaisons to pay bills, right?
Operationally, not needed. The town manager is the signator for it, and per the policy, she's the main signator. As far as anything over the 1,500 threshold, yes, we'll need double signatures. But per the auditor, it's a little overkill currently how we have it, but it's the opinion of the council if they want to continue doing it that way. But we do have, again, we do have protocols now where it keeps me on check when it comes to the finances, which is what their main concern is.
If there was only one, and they couldn't attend your weekly or biweekly meeting sessions, does that kind of hamper operations? Isn't it best to have a redundant?
No,
opportunity?
because again, if it's happened now, it's easier to we would still run payables as need be, as I don't enter them. I review them, town manager reviews them, and then she signs off on them. But we also have set of eyes to make sure everything's in accordance. She's not going to sign off on something that isn't proper. So we will hold off on that. Is there a hindering if we had one? No, it would work. But again, that's up to council to decide if they want to do that. But could we work with one? Yes. As the invoices are not entered by the treasurer, they're entered by the deputy, reviewed by the treasurer, then back reviewed to the town manager who signs off on the ones that are below the threshold of 1,500. And then the whole point of the liaison is to be aware, see what's been signed off on, what's been going out. That's just a practice in council, and in other jurisdictions, it's a one-person liaison. If you want me to be, frankly, honest with you about that. But again, like I stated, the only reason we went to a 2 was for initially what was being taken over from the prior administration. But even then, things have evolved and changed from then. So now to answer your question directly, would it hamper to have one? No.
Okay, thank you.
And can I just clarify really, really quickly? I did not say decisions. I said recommendations, which they have come out of the finance committee. And I feel strongly that we should all be part of that same conversation, and no recommendations should be made as if that were above the group. I think everything should be transparent, and that's why I mentioned it.
If that's okay. And I just want to reiterate that at any given point in time, there are policies and procedures put in place that if more than the 2 liaisons were present and somebody else from council wanted to attend, we would make accommodations for that. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. Any further discussion?
Mayor, I would like to just add, behind the policy and procedures, there was a little bit of discussion last week on the Code of Ethics and the Standard of Conduct. I have also provided a red line version of that as well for your review. And also behind that, there was a suggestion that we add the attorney staff contact policy to the policy and procedures, and that is also on packet page 173. And I've also added on packet page 175, the payable and receivable check signing policy that was incorporated and passed in 2023, 24.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely.
In my review of the work session, there was discussion about being read into versus being signed. Is this the policies and procedures? Can you please educate me? Yeah, this is what
Yes,
it is.
this is what would be part of the organizational meeting, which would be read into. I mean, it is a long document. I don't know if we would just read into that or acknowledge that you all have it.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what jurisdictions do the acknowledgement?
Several, actually. Middleburg, Town of Warrenton, Town of Vienna. It's in their actual council handbook, and they sign saying that they have received their council handbook, and that's part of the handbook.
Were there any additional questions, concerns, comments? Did we want to discuss acknowledgement versus signing versus? Did we want to look at this at the next work session?
I'd like to look at it for the next work session and maybe flush it out a bit and decide what points should adhere to it. Okay.
Thank you.
Also acknowledgement versus signing. Do we need, is that okay just to do a directive in that manner?
We just
Okay,
I'll just
perfect.
bring it back to the work session. It's fine.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Gallagher. Our next item is the second draft of the town communication plan. Would you please lead us on that discussion?
Yeah, it's going to be a very brief one. We did discuss this at the work session last week. There were some minor word changes that were put in. It really is not significantly different than the previous version. Specifically, I put in, there was a question about, kind of vetting out a little bit more of the crisis communication, what some of the other federal agencies or a little bit more definition around that. So that's been added. There was also, and I kind of not remember my own document, remember where it is. There was about the feedback mechanisms. There was the original wording said in there that feedback would be reviewed by town leadership. And there was a question as to what that meant, who leadership was. So we did define that it is the town mayor, vice mayor, council, and staff. So that we've, for any key insights so that they can be incorporated into further communication strategies. But other than that, there really was no other changes. I'm happy to take any questions.
I just want to say thank you. This is well needed in making those changes.
Mary, did you have anything?
I think the communication plan is great, and I look forward to seeing how the community outreach liaison position can play a role in it. So thank you.
I think it's when I ran for mayor 5 years ago, this was one of my things that pet projects, which I wanted to see get done. It's nice to see this finally getting solidified. I do understand that this will be a living document, so it can be improved yearly as it gets reviewed. Most of the comments tonight by the citizens were about communication of construction on the demolition of the house. Hopefully this helps baseline and address these issues that come in. So I'm glad to see it's finally coming to fruition.
Thank you very much. Right. So did we want to look at adopting it, or are we wanting to work a little bit more on it for maybe a vote in May?
I do not want to work on it anymore.
Okay, so let's go. There we go. There we go. We're gonna do.
But if you want to put it out to May to vote on it, that's fine too, but I'm certainly ready to move on.
Sure, I'm open to adopting the communication plan. Does anybody have do we have anything in our packet?
I don't know. I'll ad lib it.
Yeah.
I move that the town council adopt the Town of Haymarket Communication Plan. I don't see like a specific number or anything. Okay, perfect. And is there anything else I need to specify? Effective immediately.
A roll call vote?
Second.
Sorry, then roll call vote.
You're
Who's
gonna
gonna
rock,
claim second? Give it to Justin, or we'll give it to Justin.
That's second your own communication plan.
Anything additional?
No.
No? Okay.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Thank you very much. Yay. All right, so the last item on the agenda is the FY26 budget. Roberto, please lead us in that discussion.
Good evening. So from the last meeting that we had on the work session last week, there was just two minor adjustments we did. Going back, spoke to the finance liaisons about this too. Going back to, on the revenue side, cigarette tax, we went ahead and reduced that by 7,000 to 133,000. And we also looked at the communications tax. We reduced that by 8,000. This is just more to show on trend. I'm still researching as to like how we can get more information as to the expectancy on these taxes. On one of them, I did reach out to communications and was given that the state doesn't have a specific breakdown on how the vendors are done, but gave me a guide on how they calculate it. So I will share that with y'all in the next meeting. As far as that, how we balanced it out was obviously by removing that 8,000 and 7,000 from the CIP section, which in this case would be the security system for town hall, as that is one of the items we were funding with these revenues. So that just got reduced a bit more, but we still have 173,921 funding that project. Aside from that, is the earlier meeting, we talked about this budget is proposed budget works with the proposed flat tax rate. I don't know if there's any specific changes or questions as of right now to this budget presented revision.
Could you tell me the line item for the security that you just mentioned?
That is that is line item on page 7, line item 9410805, Town Hall Museum Security System.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. Yes, ma'am.
Roberta, just so I know that you put together some options that talked about different tax rates if we did lower. What would be removed from an expense perspective? What would we not be able to do? Or what would not get as much?
It would be the CIP. It
would be the CIP.
The CIP section, yes.
So it'd be that security system.
Security system, depending, well, with the scenarios that I showed, I think the security system would be the one that we would reduce it on, but yet still have funds to do so. If council wishes to fully fund it or fund it a different way, we do have reserves we can do that with, or ARPA. It just all depends on the council's decision.
Got it. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Nothing at this time.
If there are no questions, I do want to make sure that if there's no changes on this budget, this is the budget that I will be sending out for public notice, because we are in that time crunch where we need to send it, Kim, I believe by next week. So the budget you see here, which is basically the budget summary in the front, is the budget that we will be holding a public hearing on May 5th. Again, though, that's, the budget, will be the public hearing. Obviously, it's time for things to change then. If the rates change or anything, that could still be adjusted. But just to have that official public hearing to start discussing this budget and have public comments on it will be held May 5th. So I will be sending this in, as this is the intended budget I'll use for the public notice.
May I ask a qualifying question?
Yes.
If we send out the public notice and we do have changes, do we need to send out another public notice, or is this just something that public notice serves as intent and then we just continue the conversation?
I think the public notice to have the discussion. Ola, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's for that. It happens where you have a public hearing, and I think the county does it too, where they change items and stuff. They change around revenues or change around expenditures. Is a common practice. Is just to get it out there, is to have the public to have eyes on it and comment on the specifics. That's correct.
So we're not adhered to it. We get to have a discussion and continue. We're
Correct.
just using that. Okay.
Correct,
Thank you
correct.
for that for that.
Feedback mechanism.
Yep. Nope. All right. Ken, did you have anything additional?
I had no additions.
Right, Matt,
Nothing else from me?
Mary? Nope. Justin? Nope. All right, thank you very much. Shocker, but we are at the end of our agenda.
Not yet. We got a whole section here.
Oh, wait, what are we doing? No,
Comment time.
I was gonna say, yes, it's comment time, but at the end of the agenda.
We get to talk.
So we get to move to council member time. So we will start with Vice Mayor, please.
Oh, I go first today?
Woohoo.
All right. First of all, I just wanted to thank my colleagues for all of your input on the communication plans. Wanted to thank the staff. The staff did a phenomenal job of putting together those appendices together. I really valued their input. Just really wanted to, and looking forward to getting that implemented, and frankly, looking forward to learning from it. I'll echo what Councilman Lurston said about our residents today, and saying, they talked right off the bat about communication, and it was it was cringing while they were talking about it. If they are still listening, we heard you. I'd love to talk to you more about your concerns, and specific to the park. The only other thing I wanted to kind of mention, just with regards to our budget, I do want to say that I really appreciate everybody's attention to this. I know, speaking to the community, fiscal responsibility is something I hear from our residents all the time. Something that everybody always tells us all the time. We want lower taxes. We want to, you be fiscally responsible. But I do think that we have some things coming up. I think we need to really take a really hard look, and I think, from the looks of it, I think the staff and Roberta, you've done a great job in presenting options that we've asked for, and giving us a healthy budget. So I'm pretty happy about that. And the last thing I'm just going to mention, just because it's today, it might be a little late, but today is National Beer Day. All right. We have a couple of great breweries in town, our businesses with Great Maine and Truvai. They're probably closed by now, but we can, if you can go home, and today is National Beer Day if you'd like to grab one beer. So, but for those who are celebrating in April, a happy Passover and a happy Easter to everybody who celebrates. Thank you.
Thank you. I know.
Inviting us out?
I can't, because only one person can come.
As long as we don't talk.
All right, so thank you, sir. The second on our list is Councilperson Bianni, but he is not here, as is Councilperson Passanello. So we will go to Ken, please.
Okay, first I'd like to comment, I like the original agenda where I'm
Still
speaking
mayor.
last and I got a mayor title, so I'd like
you're
to
still
keep this
mayor.
agenda handy for later times.
No.
Okay, seriously, I want to kind of address some of the citizens' comments. We heard growth issues. Well, as you could see, the way we scrutinized Chick-fil-A tonight, I think we are trying to address this as well as possible. We are dealing with issues that I think percolated from the previous council, and we're trying to correct them any way possible. When it comes to vagrancy in the park or any type of nighttime adventures, I'm sure we got policies in place that close the park at a certain time, and the police do have a routine to check this. So I am confident in this issue not becoming a problem here at this time. We hear you, we feel we have everything in place, and we will adjust if we see any problems that do occur. Other than that, happy hour at, I guess, Matt's house tonight. He's inviting us for beer.
Awesome, thank you. And we will go now to Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to reiterate what my colleague, Councilmember Lorson said regarding our citizens' concerns. I definitely look forward to discussing more with them any other concerns around the park, especially since that is one of our CIP items. I want to make sure that we are definitely touching base with the residents that are directly impacted with those changes and take their feedback in particular. So I urge my fellow council members to also maybe reach out to them and see, maybe welcome them to a dialogue. I certainly plan to. So with that said, I am really glad spring is here. I hope everyone is enjoying the farmers market, that everyone is looking forward to all the wonderful outdoor activities that are going to be coming. With that said, please use caution when in the town. 25 is 25. We have people walking. Please stop for pedestrians, all that fun stuff. And spring break is coming up, so you might see a lot of kids out there. Also, keep an extra eye out for those guys. And hope everyone's safe, healthy, and happy.
Thank you. And that leads us to you, Justin.
Like I always start off, I want to thank the staff, colleagues, Roberto, Emily, I know you got a lot on your plate. Kim, Alexandra, I know you guys do a lot. Chief, so thank you for everything. You guys do so much for us and keep us in touch with everything that's going on. So thank you. I was really proud of us tonight, even with the SUP that came up, that we could have a dialogue about it and come to a resolution. I didn't, seeing that means that we can all come together and make it happen. Park Valley's having some Easter events, so go on their website, check it out. First farmers market went down. I wish Julie was here, but good job on that, and just enjoy, and thank you for everything.
Absolutely. Thank you. So that leads it to me. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to everyone in this room for being so supportive in my absence. So thank you for the continued conversations. Thank you for the collaboration and the support. It means a lot to me and goes a very long way. Love to say happy spring. I think that I was like over the moon excited to come back into town and have farmers market. So I am continuing the mayor's tent. I will be there the very first Sunday of every month. Had really great conversations and just really enjoyed hearing the live music and just talking with everybody. Very excited about our new newsletter. So beat me to the punch earlier today. I was like, it's in your mailboxes this week, so look for it. I do sincerely appreciate folks who are participating in citizens' time. It is an overall goal of mine for there to be more interaction and voicing of concerns. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for expressing yourself. And please know that, yes, we will be connecting with you and talking about it and addressing your concerns. Would also like to say how much I appreciate everybody on the dais. The continued collaboration and transparency goes a long way. So thank you to staff. Thank you to our police department. And I look forward to the spring. So thank you very much.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There's no other business. We are adjourned. That was
Beat you.
fast.